Let's see if anybody picks up here. Hey, Serenity. Hey, can you hear me now? Hiller? Anybody? All right. Hey, we got sound. Holy shit. Now maybe everybody else will kind of find us. Oh, how you been, brother? Hey, Zippo, what's up, dude? Good to see you, man. I appreciate y'all being patient with me after the slight technical difficulty that I had. Let's give it a little bit, see if everybody else kind of picks up on it. Let's see who ends up stumbling their way in, shall we? Hey, Nubster, what's up, dude? All right, thank God, it's finally working. Ain't technology great, y'all, when it works? Hey, MK, well, I mean, what can I say? Uh, if you bash something with a hammer enough, well, wait a minute, I can't say that or else my wife will get mad at me. Uh, Gmod's video shouldn't have started until 8:30, so hang on, let me check on that real quick. Oh, shit, fire. Well, I'll tell you what, guys. Today's been 4F. What can I say? Yeah. I'm going to run over there and apologize to Lila because apparently we got our signals crossed a little bit here. Yeah, Nubs, I would agree with you. It ain't all that great, even if it does. Oh, okay. All right, I see what's going on now. Due to my failing and technical ineptitude, Gmod decided to bump her video up a little bit just to kind of fill in the blanks a little bit. So we're going to go full circle a little bit here. Yeah, well, smartphone, dumb phone, phone, don't give a damn. It's a phone. That's all it's got to do is make calls. It doesn't have to, contain your entire life like so many of us have become dependent upon. Anyway, figured I'd do live up here from the ride factory because, hey, it's a little different, something we ain't never done before. And also, I know a lot of times you guys don't really get a chance to hang out with us up here. So I figure, what the hell? Why not? Yeah. Flash monkey with a wrench was very prophetic. Okay. I should have known better than to type that. But then again, here we are. Yeah. Gma saved my ass again. Wifey and it saved my ass again. Actually, I kind of hope she'd be a little bit proud of me because I did I did the tech support thing. I tried turning it off and turning it back on, and that fixed it. So hey. Anyway, I got to wade my way around the shop a little bit here, guys, because we have got a full damn house, and believe it or not, we got rid of some bikes here recently too. So yeah, you can imagine how it's been like here lately. Hey, June, what's happening, man? So here's what I've been doing tonight. Um, yeah, I got a pulley in the mail. And, just like whenever you get a new toy, you got to play with it, okay? Um, it just be cautious about when and where you play with your new toy, depending on what store it came from. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No kidding, Buck. I will take that cookie when I get home, my dear. Hey, Jeremy, how you doing, bud? Well, Drew, you're on start number 4. Okay, we had a little bit of an issue. Yes, baby, you are the cookie. Hey, flipping. Well, right now it's kind of organized chaos, but you kind of see what we're dealing with, and this is one room of 3. By the way, everybody say hi to Slothy over there. He's doing a good damn job. Hey, Sterling, how are you, man? Kenneth Anderson, question for tonight. Tire recommendations. Dunlop, Metzler, Michelin, blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what? Um, I've never really been accused of being a fanboy, and I have kind of a general distaste for Dunlop because I fell out of love with them probably about 15 years or so ago because it just seemed like they kept reintroducing the same old crap, but their prices kept going up. Uh, like Nubby said down in the comments right there, the Shinko 999. I've got them on Destiny here. I've got them on my roadie, and I'll tell you what, I have put a shit ton of miles on those things. And honestly, in my opinion, now granted, this is just my opinion, but dollar per dollar, I've yet to find another tire that produces the same kind of mileage, the same kind of handling, and the same kind of value. I mean, it's damn hard to beat because you're literally buying into something that will have the capability of doing Metzler type of mileage with a better ride, because they don't feel like they're, rolling on a wooden wagon wheel at literally half the price. I mean, it's a win win. Well, maybe I understand you're not a fan of the 404s, and the reason why is because the Dunlop 404s is probably the most low buck, low ball tire that Dunlop makes, and they make them specifically as an OEM fitment tire for the manufacturers because those tires, on average, for the size that your bike takes, they cost Honda about 22, 23 bucks a piece for a front and maybe 30 bucks a piece for a rear. So yeah, um, you can take from that you're not getting the upper crust of technical advancement. Well, MK Ultra, here's the thing. There's a caveat here when it comes to the Shinko, all right? Hang on, y'all. My arm's getting tired. Let me find a place to put this damn laptop down, and also maybe you guys will stop getting motion sickness from me wandering around. Um, hmm. Asgat's idea. Yeah, leave it to the wife unit to be the smartass about number 404. We're talking about tires here, babe. Hey, Starling, what's up, brother? Yeah. Buck, yeah, dude. Dude, you've been through the ringer with your truck, all right? We ain't gonna touch on that. I don't want to relive any recent traumas for you. But here's my thing on the Shinkos, okay? Sorry, kind of a roundabout sidebar there. For years, and I mean years, I have told people that Shinko is nothing but a low buck, low ball, low budget tire. I mean, something that you typically put on a bike if you're trading it into a dealer or if you're trying to sell the thing off, or if you're just absolutely digging in the couch kind of level broke. Um, they don't wear good for the most part. Some of their tires I absolutely will not sell to people, period, hands down, just because of issues I've seen with them in the past. But about 2.5 years ago, whenever they first brought the 999 to market, I was actually one of the beta testers for those tires, and I was kind of in a weird spot where I needed some tires for the roadie, and we were fixing to go to Key West. And the thing is, the tires that I wanted were on back order because, I put Harley touring wheels on my Yamaha. So, I was kind of bracketed into those size tires. And, my rep from Western Power Sports was in the shop that day, and he's like, hey, I'll give you a front tire. I'll sell you the rear tire at my cost. Put them through the ringer, try them out, let me know what you think. And, I thought, hey, if I get 10,000 miles out of them, I'll be okay. And they made me look like an asshole. I mean, straight up. Hang on. Let me show you guys something. And I know we're going on walkabout again, but there's a purpose for it. I have kept this thing around as a sales tool slash personal trophy, if you will, ever since I pulled it off the back of the Bastard Glide. And I'll be honest with you, it's been a really good real world example of what these tires are capable of and how they wear. But yeah, hang on, check us out, y'all. We That tire right there that has a permanent spot to live in here on the end of the counter at the Rad Factory. That's the first Shinko 999 that I put on my Roadstar. Now, believe it or shit, that tire has right at 24,000 miles on it when I took it off. I mean, it's kind of hard to argue with those kind of numbers. The front tire that came from that pair, it went 35,000 miles before I changed it out. Buck, we're not even going to get into any of the squirrel accusation moments here, okay? And yes, babe, it's a semi ADHD moment. I may be a little bit on the spectrum. I may be slightly over caffeinated. I don't know. Just might. Hey, if it's working for you, hey, man, rock on. What I saw a problem with on the Shinkos, the front tire, well, two things, and this is a twofold thing. Part of it's a tire problem, and part of it is an owner problem. Number one, people by nature are lazy. And as a matter of fact, I would wager that out of all these motorcycles that you guys have seen here so far tonight at the Ride Factory, probably 9 out of 10 of these things showed up with tires on them that were severely underinflated. And some of these bikes have been here since it was, normal non iguana paralysis temperatures outside. So you can't blame it on the weather. But the the thing is, with the Shinko, a lot of times, a lot of people would buy into or would not buy into enough tire, so to speak. They'd buy a tire that said it was the right size, but they would not look at the load rating and the load carrying capability. So that's part of where that comes into play too. And then also Shinko's typically, especially on the 777s and the old Shinko Tour Masters, those tires typically have a pretty soft compound to them to begin with. So when you add in low tire pressure and a soft tire, it ends up with a tire that wears funky and it's going to chop up and hack up pretty quick. And, that's partly why they get a bad rap. Don't get me wrong, they ride good, they've got good traction, they're a good, from a performance aspect, they're a very good handling tire. They're a good riding tire. My gripe is the mileage potential because on some of the tires, going back to the 777, which is very common for Shinko, they some of these tires, if you put them on, say, like the back of an older Road King or a older Heritage Softail, something like that. Maybe you might get maybe 5,000 miles out of a rear tire if you're lucky. It's just soft tire plus heavy bike equals quick wear. Nubs, yes, I agree with you. You got to be a little bit off kilter, to really, really get into this kind of a lifestyle. Sorry, Motometric. I'm having to read back up on your comment here in just a second. Oh, well, it might help if I switch over to live chat because I've been trying to do something with techrons and electrons and protons and yeah. Oh, hey, there's a whole lot more comments that make sense to this story. A whole lot more better. Yeah. No, babe, I'm not going to wear a kilt for you, okay? Don't get me wrong. I'm not insecure. It's just that I don't want to be sued for blinding our neighbors because I got pasty ass white boy legs. Hey, John Stanley, how you doing, bud? Oh, hey, G-Ma. Yeah, I'm having a spirited hair evening, okay? And at the point I'm at right now, I really don't give a damn, all right? It is what it is. Hey, Joey Stromboli, how you doing, my brother? Ema, I appreciate you filling in the blank here for me while I tried to figure out how in the hell to unplug a cord and plug it back in. I'll go back and watch your video here in just a little bit, hon, whenever we get done with this. But now the as a helpful side benefit of this is I don't have to watch the clock like a hawk and everything for fear of going over Gma's video because I pissed away most of the first half of our live stream, so we got to make up for lost time. Yeah, Lila covered my ass, y'all. Big props to her. Love her to death. Oh, you can. I preach at people about checking tires all the time. Well, I shouldn't say that. I positively remind them and reinforce the concept of, yeah, that's the bullshit we're going to go with tonight. In my head, I'm preaching at them because in my head, I'm thinking, we've had the same conversation about 6 times now, and you just ain't getting it. Oh, Gma, I'm sorry to hear about that, hon. We got to figure out this schedule thing. Oh, hey, if my hair starts leaving me, y'all are just going to see me go full blown Pugsley Adams. That's just all there is to it. Yep. I mean, I'm going to tell on myself here, okay? I'm on my bikes enough and often enough to know when something's off. And one thing in particular about the Roadstar, since I did the wheel swap on that thing, it's kind of funny because if the front tire gets about 5, 6 pounds low on the roadie, you would swear that the rear tire is flat as a pancake. It's bizarre, but that's the way it presents itself, and I really can't understand why. But there's been so many times where I've been like, "Shit, I ran over a nail again, and my rear tire's going flat," and it feels like it's just flatter than hell. It's not flat. Front tire's just a wee bit low. I mean, I've had bikes before where I've literally had a flat on the front, and it was nothing like this. Gma, I agree with you, but it's weird. Okay, well, I'm weird, and my bikes are weird, so maybe it's that. Maybe it's me. Yeah, probably. Uh, man, better living through modern chemistry, y'all. My coffee cup is my friend. But anyway, so let's wander back up front here because it's been kind of a long day. My dogs are barking just a little bit. I still got some shit I got to finish up before I can come home, but I want to hang out with you guys for a little bit here. So let me get up here on the counter and let me prop my feetsies up just a little bit here. But let's talk about some stuff, okay? I know a lot of you guys are locked away in the Great White North right now, at least for the foreseeable future, because of geographic location, weather, whatever the case may be. Um, let's talk some common sense stuff here, okay? And I know that anymore that's not terribly common, but hey, what the hell? We'll take a stab at it, all right? So, let me dispel a couple of myths here because we've already been seeing it this year. And, I don't know why people think that this works, but it doesn't. If you've got a bike that you've got, especially if you're up north where you're off of the bike, period, for a couple of months at least, be it snowed in or just colder than shit or whatever. Here's my thing. These guys that go out in the garage and they start their bike up every couple, 3, 4 days, something like that. This is going to sound stupid, but stop doing that. You're not doing yourself any favors there because what happens if you start the bike and you let it run in the garage 5 to 10 minutes, something like that, it may be warm, but it's not fully up to operating temp. You're not getting all of your fluids. You're not getting all the drivetrain up to temp, all that. So what happens, you end up growing condensation inside the motor, and also you end up growing a lot more carbon inside the motor because the motor is not completely up to operating temp to where it can burn that stuff off. So you're just adding up to the layers that are already there. Snakebait, you've been talking to my daughter because she swears up and down the same bullshit, man. That whenever they land on telephone wire, that's how they recharge. Maybe I agree with you, but the thing is, realistically, if you're in a spot where it's cold enough to where you've got the bike put up and you're not on the bike, just letting it run, you're really not going to get the thing up to temp enough to counteract the effects of condensation and stuff like that. You're better off just to keep your battery on a maintainer, or better yet, pull your battery out and bring it in the house to where it's not getting frozen to death and bouncing back and forth. And just make sure you got it pickled with some fuel stabilizer. And hopefully, if you've got a carbureted bike, you had enough forethought to fill the tank up after you put your stabilizer in, and then run the bike long enough to get all the stabilizer mixed in with your fuel and get it down to the carbs where it does the most good. Mr. John Richard, no, I have not worked on any of the RevMax platform bikes, but just looking at the general layout of them, they're not terribly dissimilar from the Indian Scout slash Victory Octane platform. Uh, now, granted, I mean that's a very loose comparison, but the same basic footprint between the two motors applies there. There is a lot of potential for power there. There's a lot of potential for RPM there. But also, I can kind of see a couple of shortcomings that I would definitely be leery of were it me spending the money on one. European swallow. Yeah, Drew. Yeah, ride your shit. That's kind of the reoccurring theme around here. I mean, we have people. Actually, a while back, I had a customer that brought a bike back to me after 2.5 years, and he had put exactly 183 miles on this thing, and we almost had to break out the crayons to explain to him why the carburetors needed cleaned on this thing again. Nubs, I wouldn't get too ramped up over it right now. And the thing is, if you're starting it and running it, at least trying to keep the blood flowing, so to speak, you're probably not going to have to worry about, any issues from fuel degradation or anything. At least, not unless you leave it parked for another couple, 3 months. And I know that's not your plan. So I'd say you're beginning to clear there. Uh, just to kind of add on that, Nubby, what you might do is go ahead and pregame a little bit here. Uh, go to O'Reilly's, Walmart, whatever the case may be. Two products you need. Number one, you need a can of Seafoam. Number two, you need a bottle of Chevron Techron. Now, With the Chevron Techron, that's some potent shit, man. So don't spill it on your paint, whatever you do, but also don't overdo it neither. On your bike, your bike holds about 4.5 gallons in the tank. So I'd put about 3 ounces of Techron in a full tank of gas, tops. That's it. You'd be better off sticking with two if you want to know the truth about it. Now, as far as the seafoam goes, dude, you can throw half a bottle in the damn thing. It ain't gonna hurt nothing. Mr. John Richards, take it with a grain of salt for what it is, man. I've had a couple of customers bring Nightsters up here. I've had a couple of customers bring Pan Ams up here. I've got one regular customer that he was just all fired up, geeked up. I mean, he just had to have a damn Pan American, and he bought one. And 2 weeks later, he sold it because he absolutely hated the damn thing. And I agree with his assessment and I agree with his reasons. But um, this guy's unique. Let's put it that way. But he did make some very valid points. They're a very rattly motor. They're a very noisy motor, at least from what I've seen. Uh, and also, I think that I think that long term, Harley is going to see some long term problems with these motors because they're trying to do more with less, so to speak. They're kind of applying that governmental mentality to it. Because number one, part of the reason that they had to do away with the Evo Sportster was because they couldn't get the thing to meet Euro 5 emissions, and they weren't going to be able to make it EPA and CAFE mandates for 2025. Or actually, no, it was 2024. So that's why they pulled the plug on the Evo Sportster. Uh, MK, dude, here's my take on non-ethanol gas. None of the fuel carriers is going to flush out their trailers. None of the gas stations is going to flush out their tanks. And legally, it can contain up to 5% ethanol and still be branded as ethanol free and sold as such. So, yeah, take it with a grain of salt, man. Jeremy McCormick, Lucas Oil, good stuff, dude. I've used Lucas in various different applications for a long damn time. Uh, I've actually here in the last year switched over to using their zinc additive in lieu of the old oh crap, what was the brand name of that stuff? Revex that I was using for my Roadstar and also for a lot of bikes that have special needs, so to speak, and things like that, and that are prone to valve train wear. You can buy a pint bottle of the Lucas and just divvy it up like that, and it just makes better financial sense. Their normal oil additive, I wouldn't put it in a motorcycle that's got a wet clutch. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to putting it in a Harley, where it's like a dry sump divorce type oiling system. But if it shares the oil supply between motor, transmission, clutch, all that stuff, yeah, I don't think I'd do that. Their fuel additive, honestly, I've never seen it do anything good. I've never seen it do anything bad, but your mileage may vary. Yeah, Jason goes, Tara, I totally agree with your statement of tired of fixing other people's fixes. I get that. Here's the thing, guys. As far as non-ethanol fuel goes, if you're following the program, like Pro Tip says, ride your shit. Yeah. The thing is, where ethanol and fuel becomes a problem is if it sits in it. If it's in there and you're running it down the road, it's coming in and out of there and it'll never give you a problem. It's whenever it sits and it starts absorbing moisture from the atmosphere and it gets right to that point to where you get the right ratio between water and alcohol, and then boom, that's when it starts getting very aggressively corrosive on raw aluminum, raw steel, things like that, especially aluminum oxide, that white fluffy crap. I mean, I've opened up carburetors here the past couple of years that literally look like somebody crammed them full of baby powder if they were ate up so bad. Dry Heat Doug, welcome in, my man. How you doing, brother? Cupcakes Garage. Welcome in, man. I can't recall if I've ever had you on a live or on a video before because I don't recognize your screen handle. But hey, man, thanks for showing up to share some brain space with us, dude. Kyle, exactly. You don't want to sit there in the gas tank and go stagnant. Now, I know, I know a lot of people, especially, people that have like a real job or, you know, like a real life or real responsibility, something like that. Basically, if you're a normie, the average rider does 4 to 6 thousand miles a year on average, at least in our area here. And so that means a lot of downtime and also a lot of short hops and everything. Now, if you're bike only and you're on two wheels every damn where you go, except for on special occasions, whenever I got to break out Project Shitbox, then yeah, it don't take long to go through a tank of gas in a bike. Other people, it may take a while. And then, talking about my customer that had 180 some odd miles on a bike that I finished 2.5 years ago, he put gas in this thing one time in 2.5 years. Yeah, y'all can do the math on that. Hey, John Weiss, how you doing, brother? It was good talking with you earlier today, man. We get wrapped up here. I'm gonna get you wrapped up on your front end stuff there. That way I can get it back out to you tomorrow, man. Oh, Doug, I'm not a legend of any damn thing. Okay, if anything, I'm a legend of be on the lookout for a poster somewhere. Troubled 10 to 15K a year. You would be well in other parts of the country. That's a hard maybe, but down here, probably. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that probably half of our customer base, whenever we do tires here, it's not because they're wore out; it's because they're aged out, and that's not just from being as close to the Gulf as we are here. That's legitimately from a tire being 7 years or older. Wife unit, come on, let Doug have his fun. All right, don't bust his bubble. Hey Neil, what's up, man? I didn't see you slide in here earlier. I was probably blabbering and wandering around the shop like an idiot. Jeremy McCormick, dude, if you're posing me with a math problem right now, then you're out of luck, dude, because I don't have the mental capacity to do that kind of math right now. Let's see here. Viking plumber. I knew somebody was going to ask me about putting car tires on a motorcycle. There's a reason it's called a car tire. There's a reason it's called a motorcycle. The two are kind of mutually exclusive. Okay. Now, here's my take. I've ridden bikes that have been dark sided before, and I don't care what you say or what kind of tire it is, they handle fucking weird. Okay. I mean, they do. And from a handling and safety standpoint, I'm a big believer on the fact that warning labels, bubble wrap, and OSHA are a big reason why our society is so screwed up today. If those things didn't exist, I think we would be far better off as a species. However, um, that's one of those things where I got to say, probably not the best thing to do, man. But at the end of the day, you do you, brother. I mean, it comes down to what you're comfortable with, and as long as you educate yourself, and as long as you are understanding of the potential downsides and consequences of the fact, then hey, baby, rock on with it. Because here's a good thing: if you try it and you don't like it, you can always go back. Just make sure you figure out you don't like it before you figure out this was a real bad damn idea. Hang on here, y'all. I got to catch up on comments just a second. I get the feeling I'm missing something pretty profound. But you can get used moto tires. Okay, I thought that's what that said. I ain't gonna lie, man. I've ran some sketchy ass takeoffs before, and there's been times where I've had to do what I did. That way I could get back and forth to work or get around, or, I was just a little bit strapped at the time. So, yeah. Sorry, gang. I'm catching up here. Bear with me. They roll just fine down the highway of sin. You ain't wrong, brother. Yeah. Doug, you make a good point there. Do a little bit of Googling and learn how to read a DOT date code on a tire, because legally they got to be printed on any tire, car, motorcycle, truck, farm tractor, whatever. Ever since the big Firestone debacle in the late 1990s, when Ford Explorers were rolling over and playing dead every time you turned around, and Firestone kind of hemmed and hawed, and then they slowly put their hand up and said, "Well, we may have overstated the capabilities of our tire." Uh, yeah, that's the thing now. So those four little numbers on the sidewall of a tire will tell you a whole lot about the history behind that tire, because it can look brand new, it can have blisters all over it, it can still have stickers on it. But if the damn thing's 15 years old, guess what? You ain't buying a new tire. And typically, what we do here at the Ride Factory is whenever we order a tire in, we'll check the date code on it. And if that tire is older than 18 months old, usually we're reaching out to our dealer rep to where we can buy, like, hey, let's send this thing back and get something a little fresher, because this thing's obviously got a little bit of warehouse time on it. And there are times where we send tires back simply because that they've been, you know, year and a half, 2 years old. Hell, I had one a few years ago that we received that was almost 4 years old when we got it. And now, obviously, this was kind of a specialty tire that we had ordered in for a customer, but I didn't feel good about, excuse me, I didn't feel good about selling a tire to a customer as a new tire when it wasn't new and it had already been on this little mud ball called Earth at least one presidential. You know, I just, yeah. Sorry, I'm kind of brain nuked after today, guys. Oh yeah, Nubs, I forgot. You're a tire guy, so you know all about that shit. Good and on you, man. I appreciate you sharing the input there, because I just look at the 4-digit date code on them and that's it. The rest of the hieroglyphics and stuff on the side of the tire, I don't know how to read that crap any better than I know how to read Mandarin Chinese, but I know it means something to somebody, and apparently you're that guy. Oh, Brian, you missed a few things, dude. You missed me stumbling all over myself. This is live stream attempt number 4, by the way. We finally hit something that stuck. Pete, what's up, dude? I didn't see when you snuck in, man. Good to see you. Uh, apparently, the wife unit and Pete Carvo is having a bit of a headbutting match in the comments right now. So, how's weather up there, y'all? Let's see here. Yeah, I. Oh man, I tell you what, guys. Um, when we get wrapped up with the live stream here in a little while, I've got a couple things that I've got to put to bed. I got to go back and I got to get my tour glide wrapped up to where I can set that thing down on the ground, because I've got 9 lifts in this building and right now I don't have a single damn one available. So my junk's got to go. Man, you guys are rocking and rolling in the chat tonight. There is no way I can keep up with that stuff. Turns on sugar here any minute, any minute. Man, this is where I need the V chip. That way I can be a speed reader. Buck, you bring up an excellent point there. Now, in the grand scheme of things, I think you got the one that was built on Monday. However, that was definitely not a normal occurrence with what you ran into. In case you guys ain't picked up what he's putting down there, Buck Brown had a problem with a brake line that he bought for his night ride whenever he donated it to Forgotten Angels as a raffle bike a while back. And he bought a new brake line from Harley. And what was it? 6, 8 months, something like that. That one pooped itself too. And apparently, that new brake line was several years old. And if you dig deep enough in the owner's manual of pretty much any metric motorcycle, um, I'm not sure what Harley says because I've never really bothered to look, but on most metric manufacturers, they recommend that you replace your brake hoses every 4 years. Yeah, think about that, y'all. Yeah, Gma, I agree with you. On older scoots, especially if you're doing like a restoration or a custom or something, it's cheap insurance to go ahead and put hoses on it. I mean, I got a new set of brake lines for my Tour Glide because my vintage 1988 ones, you know how they start corroding right there where the crimp shell is, where the rubber line gets crimped onto the metal fitting. Mine are looking swollen, like they may have some kind of a bacterial infection, or they may have done a little bit of backseat experimenting on prom night. I'm not sure which, but anyway, I got a new set of hoses for it. I just got to find time to put the damn things on. Yeah, Kyle, I know. I mean, it's a wild concept, but you've actually got to fix shit before it breaks. Okay, that's how it keeps a little problem from creating a oh shit situation with a quickness. Troubled on the steel braided brake line, that's something that you're going to get a lot of different answers depending on the manufacturer. I actually had a representative from uh, Russell Brake Hose in the shop a couple of years ago, and I had asked him something similar. And Russell says that they guarantee their stuff to be a lifetime type product. At least that was their standpoint then, provided it doesn't have any physical damage. Uh, Now, the lines from Goodridge, I mean, anything that's commercially manufactured for sale as a OEM replacement, it has to undergo DOT testing to be licensed and insured, or licensed and certified as a DOT replacement. So it's got to go through DOT testing. That being said, there's going to be a date of manufacture on that part somewhere. And Goodridge, if I'm not mistaken, I think Goodridge says 8 years on their braided steel lines. Um, Hang on. I got a computer in front of me and another one I'm sitting right next to. Let me look and find out real quick. Let me jump on the Google machine here because now you got my curiosity up a little bit. Uh, well, let's see here. Okay. Um, Now take this with a grain of salt because this isn't coming from Goodrich, but this is coming from a company called Pelican Parts, and they're pretty big in the Volkswagen, Porsche, hop up and restoration game. Um, let's see here. Da-da-da-da-da. Wait a minute. Okay, now, and again, this is kind of a dark hole. I mean, this is one of those things. I'm pretty sure if you ask this question in the right spot on the right Facebook group or the right internet forum, it would probably devolve into that whole, my oil is better than your oil type of pissing match argument. So, yeah. Um, Basically, when it comes down to the life expectancy on a braided hose troubled, I would say contact the manufacturer and get it straight from them. So, yeah. Hang on, let me scroll up here a little bit. I think I missed something from you, Jeremy McCormick. Uh, yeah, man. If you're seeing oil residue on your oil lines back behind the motor where it goes up to the oil bag and runs down to the oil pump, definitely investigate it. Remind me, what kind of a Harley have you got, Jeremy? I'm not remembering right now, man. Yeah, rubber hose rabbit hole is right, brother Buck. Oh yeah, if he's got an iron head or something along those lines, then yeah, it's probably a senior citizen at this point, Gma. Um, I will say this though, guys, if you're having to rehose anything that carries oil, not fuel but oil, make sure that you're getting a hose that is actually approved for oil and not fuel, because there is a difference. Sorry, guys, the wife unit sent me a message I had to look at. Ah, message received, my dear. Hey, Pete, your FLT is original everything. Okay, I'm pretty sure if you pull the trunk mat up in the tour pack on that thing, you're probably gonna come across a lifestyles from 1983. Tank boot. I don't know why everybody hates on iron heads to the extent that they do. I really don't work. I really don't work. I really don't get it. Sorry, I can't read and talk at the same time, guys. I don't have the DNA for it. I really don't. By the way, hang on a second. Do, 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 do. There, I just Pete, um, it's better to ask for forgiveness than it is for permission. So, guess what, dude? You have unlimited power here on the channel, brother. Because I love you to death, and you're just a cool ass dude, man. Yes, I am at work this late, and after I get off this live stream here, whenever we finally decide to pull the plug on it, I got to go back to work and get my ass in gear and finish some stuff up. And no, I can't type and talk. Justin, you know this for fact, okay? I can barely walk and talk and chew gum. The thing is about iron heads is let's turn the calendar back a couple, 3 decades here, okay? Iron heads were so cheap and so prevalent right when the Evo's Sporty first started popping up and everything that you could pick them up for literally pennies on the dollar. And that led to a lot of people just buying them, ragging the shit out of them, not maintaining them, not doing any work on them, and then pissing and moaning about when something broke down. It's like my toy don't work. Why don't my toy work? My toy sucks. Bad toy, bad. I want new toy. And that's the mentality that people embraced, and that's why a lot of people shit talk an Ironhead. Now, don't get me wrong, there's definitely been some flaws and drawbacks to the Ironhead over the years, but a lot of it, and I mean a lot, is owner induced. It's kind of like well, it's kind of like Evo Sportsters are getting to be nowadays. A lot of them, especially because how many clapped out rubber band 883 Sportsters like from '04 to '07 do you see pop up on marketplace for $1,000, $1,200, something like that. And they've got the full blown rattle can custom made paint job. They're missing the blinkers. They've got a seat that came off of Amazon or something. Somebody took a sawzall to the rear fender and because they thought it looked cool. And it's got probably $75 worth of Chinesium forward controls and shit like that on it. Yeah, I mean, people buy them cheap. They rag the shit out of them, dispose of them when they're done. Sorry, guys, I'm checking up on comments here. Yeah, Snake Mood, I agree. 8K for a shovel is kind of a starting point for a lot of bikes in our area as well. Now, don't get me wrong, there's exceptions to that rule, but um, I blame I blame YouTube and I blame, all the biker build off series and stuff like that, because unfortunately now the shovel head is the new hipster panhead. So yeah, it's going to be in that same vein here in another 10, 15 years. They're going to be selling for 30K plus for something that looks like it may or may not actually start and run. And then, everybody's going to think their shit's wrapped up in gold. Well, Scott, you're asking something that I am very opinionated about, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. There's not much information out there, and I really don't understand why, because there's a lot of stuff from S&S that I'll kind of poo-poo and I say is wholly overpriced or unnecessary, but they knocked it out of the park with that damn reed breather. They're not a cheap product, but the thing is, we actually keep them in stock here at the Ride Factory because I use quite a few of them, and S&S says that you're only supposed to use them in a 92 up Evo Big Twin. They say that you're not supposed to put them in a bottom breather Evo or a shovel head. And I say bullshit on that because they work exceptionally well in all of those areas. And it's dummy proof. It's not just the fact that it's a one less moving part, it's the fact that it's not a compromise because with a rotary breather gear in any Harley Evo or cone motor, the timing on the breathing window is always going to be a compromise at one point or another. And with the reed breather, there is no compromise. Whenever the pistons are traveling down in the cylinders and it's starting to generate positive pressure in the bottom end, poof, it lets it breathe out. But as soon as it's done breathing out, it shuts that door and it can't pull air back in. So you don't get that back and forth tug of war with the airflow, inside the motor. And that cuts down on a lot of your oil carryover and a lot of your oil misting out of the crank breather. I mean, it's good. It's a damn good product. I would absolutely, actually, I'm probably going to end up putting one in Destiny whenever I dive into the motor on that bike. Sorry, y'all. I'm catching up on comments here. And Shepsy, I'll agree with you. Iron heads do shake a lot. Uh, what's that? How's that saying go? Oh yeah, shakes like a dog trying to shit a peach seed. And yeah, there's a lot of truth to that. Now you got to understand too, guys. On iron heads, a lot of the iron head stuff. Think about it. that came from back during the dreadful bowling ball years when AMF owned Harley, and they didn't care, man. I mean, they were just throwing shit together on the line where they could put it in a box and ship it down the door. And I've seen some of those motors that had never been opened up before and been into a bottom end on them, and I've seen flywheels on those things that were 25 thousandths of an inch out of true. And I mean, it was out of true so bad that you could spin the rods in the case and look down and you can see the two flywheels turning interdependent of one another, but they ran like that, and they ran a long damn time like that. I mean, hell, for several years, a lot of iron heads and shovel heads too, they came from the factory without an oil filter. They just told you to change your oil more frequently and wash the oil tank out with kerosene. Yeah. Well, if you're doing a build on a head breather Evo, number one, yes, reed breather is going to be your friend. Number two, look at my video that I did the other day where I had the link for Big Boys head porting. Take a look at their cam profile comparator that they've got, on their calculators tables. Um, yeah, good stuff. There's a lot of good info out there. Oh, dude, you put the Trapper Keeper in the Chopper Fest? That's awesome, man. Good luck to you. What's the best year of chopper for making or what's the best year of sporty for making into a chop? Well, it kind of depends on what you want. Do you want like old school chopper? Do you want a digger? Do you want something that looks period correct from the 60s, 70s? If you do, guess what, bub? Start shopping for an Ironhead. If you want something that looks like everything else that's running around on Facebook Marketplace or parked outside of your local Chipotle, any Evo Sportster is going to fit the bill perfectly fine. Non-rebond post AMF shovels will always have more inherent value because let's be real here, guys. As soon as the ink was on the contract, that shit did not change overnight. They had to work their ass off for a couple of years to dig themselves out of the hole that AMF got them into. And also, that was right before the Evo motor made its debut. So they were already looking towards that redemption shot there, and the Evo was it. I mean, the Evo Big Twin is single handedly the one thing out of any and all else that actually saved Harley, in my opinion, at least. Uh, I mean the Oh, Jeremy McCormick, you must be so confused right now, my man. I feel for you. Between my accent and hers, holy shit, man. Props to you, dude. I mean, go find you a monster or something. You're going to need it. But I mean, the shovels that were built after Harley bought themselves back from AMF, they were trying to improve things. But the thing is, they were looking down the road, and in the back of their head, they were probably thinking, okay, boys, we just got to ride it out and do the best we can for a couple of years. And we've got this new platform that's going to be coming online. And that's when shit's going to get real. And that's what happened. Um, hey, I laugh at all of you. Just a fun little factoid here. You can put a kicker on a Evo Sportster, Evo 5-speed Sportster at that. I think I've even seen a kicker kit for a rubber band sporty, the '04 and up Evo Sportster. But if you want a kicker, hey, more power to you. I'm kind of kicker ambivalent. Okay, on some bikes they look cool, but I don't miss them if they ain't there on others. Binary bond, hey man, if you've got an AMF shovel and it's still chugging on down the road, Good for you, man. The biggest thing that people the biggest thing with the AMF bikes, in my opinion here, the bikes themselves and the materials that they were put together with, they wasn't that bad. The problem that they had, the problem that Harley had during the AMF years, especially during the later AMF years, was people were going there as an employee because it was a job, it was a paycheck, and it was a means to an end. They were pushed and they were micromanaged and they were overridden by the bean counters and upper management to the point to where they just like, okay, they've mentally checked out at this point. They're on autopilot. They show up, they clock in, they get a paycheck, they go home. And everything that they had tried to do, everything that they had tried to improve upon, that all fell on deaf ears. And there's only so long of that that you can absorb until it's just like, well, you know what? I'm squarely in my don't give a shit arc right now. So, yeah. The thing is, the human factor is what made the AMF bike so bad. And it wasn't all of it, not by a long stretch. It's just it's kind of like the whole thing where, you can have a 101 people that show up at a, like a mechanic shop like ours, and they'll have an awesome experience and they feel like they get treated fairly, and you know they go about their business, their problem is solved. And rarely do you ever hear that. But if you have a bad experience, oh yeah, people are far more likely to relay that. And also on the same page, people are far more likely to embellish that as well. So whenever whenever you get good press, it ends up being kind of neutral because nobody ever really talks about it. But if there's some dirt to be told, then by God, they're going to spread that shit like wildfire. Yeah, Buck, you ain't entirely wrong there, because you can kind of draw a couple of close parallels to that. Now, Pete, when you say elder doesn't always mean better, you can't be talking about us, brother. I mean, we age like fine wine, son. Oh, snake boot, don't get me started on that. I've got I've got some dandies up here right now, and I would love for people to throw their 2 cents worth in on those. I don't know. We Let me put a pin in it. We may circle back to that here in the near future. Uncle Stu, thinking about putting a Springer front end on a Dyna Wide Glide. Okay, let me get this off the plate right here, right now. I love the way a Springer looks, especially a factory Harley Springer. I'm not a big fan of the aftermarket Springers because I think they look kind of Tinker Toyish. But the Harley Springers, they flow. They've got, they got good contours. They got good styling. It just looks correct. But as good as they look, they ride like shit. Um, every Springer that I've ever ridden, even one that was very low miles and had just been recently serviced, you've got so much flex and you got so much movement in the front end that your handling just goes to crap. If you're just putting up and down the road, at bike week or at bike night at Hooters, something like that, yeah, go for it. But let me ask you this: how many people that you see are doing 30 plus thousand miles a year on a Springer? I can tell you that's a damn small number, and there's a reason for that. They just, yeah, the ride ain't there, dude. Chad, I love that. Age like specialty breads. Oh man, had two repair people screw me and have not reviewed their. Oh, okay, I'm tracking. Well, I can hug your mama. Tell her I said hey. But hey, man, it's all good, brother. I appreciate you coming around to sit in with us for a little while, dude. Uh, See, that's the thing. I mean, talking about talking about old graybeards at shops and being cranky old bastards. I fit that profile. And I'm just now entering my cranky old bastard stage here, and call it my AARP arc, if you will. The thing is I don't understand why people have to be that way, because it costs you absolutely nothing to try to help somebody out, to try to share a little bit of information with people. I mean, that is the entire reason why I started this channel, okay, is, to try to help people and to try to share some of what I know with, you guys out there, to maybe help you save some money or save yourself a little bit of headache. And I just don't understand. It's not like you're not you're not defending the recipe for Coke, okay? You are not the guardian of the 11 herbs and spices for KFC. I mean, yeah, why you got to be that way? Oh man, that sucks, Kyle. I hate that, dude. We've got a we've got a bike in the back right now that we're putting back together. It's a 2010 model Ultra Classic, and it spontaneously combusted in this guy's trailer. He had a plethora of boogie lights and farkles and electrical accessories, and this thing probably had twice the amount of copper on it than it left the factory with. And something bad happened somewhere, but that son of a bitch sparked up, and so wi- wiring harness, probably half the electrical components on the bike. Um, a lot of little green trees, air fresheners, because it all smells like burnt plastic. It smells like you walked into a late night greasy spoon slash Chinese food, whatever you want to call it, gas station. It just, it went poof. Oh, Buck, I'm sorry, dude. I wasn't even thinking about that, but yeah. Yeah, well, Todd, we let that thing sit outside and air out for a couple of days, just for good measure. Besides, when that thing first showed up, it was still warm outside, and we could get by with pushing it outside all the time. Yeah, Pete, you ain't wrong here. Yeah, it's plumbing for electrons is all it is. Oh, wife unit, come on now, baby, you've been helping your whole damn life, okay? And I'm gonna take a minute here to brag on the beloved wife unit, guys. She bounced back damn good from her wreck. All things considered. I mean, there's a couple things that she still gripes and cries about and everything, and it's nothing to be taken lightly. But the thing is, when she made the camp out, barely a month, well, 6 weeks after her wreck and her subsequent surgery, I was damn proud of her. I really was. And I got to say, uh, everybody that was there at the camp out that helped me keep an eyeball out on her, helped me watch for her and everything, everybody that got behind her and supported her, encouraged her, thank y'all. I appreciate the hell out of that, because that meant the world to her and to me both. And Buck, you're 100% right. No, she does not know when to turn her brain off. That's just the truth of it. Yep. Pete nailed it. right there, Pete's got her number, and he is 100% right. And I can say that with absolute certainty because I have put up with her I've officially put up with my beloved wife unit for longer than my half life upon this great mud ball called Earth at this point. Tara, I absolutely agree with you, and I am 100% in that same vein. Because, yeah, I mean, getting old sucks, but you ain't got to be an asshole to everybody around you just because of it. But yeah, people need to understand a little bit. Some of us kind of click and pop a little bit more than what we used to, and we're rather bitter about that. All right, Kyle, you're going to have to tell me about the whistle lady sometime, man, because apparently there's a story to be told here. Well, yeah, it was kind of a pleasant surprise seeing her at the camp out there, Joey. I honestly, I did not know that she was going to stay out there with us. I thought I was going to have to take her home because, I'm not going to lie, there was several times where she wasn't very comfortable just because she was sore, she was hurting. But props to her, for sticking it out. Chad, I'm right there with you, dude. I mean, all these glow sticks lied to us all these years, and we got our hopes up, and we just kind of got left hanging. Oh, Brian, that Beamer I picked up the other day, actually, he's going to probably hit the lift here probably Saturday because I got all my parts in for him, and I just got to tidy up a few things on a couple smaller projects. But we got to do the deep dive. Carbs, change all the fluids, got to throw a battery in it. It's a typical bring it back from the dead job. I mean, bike's been off the road for a couple of years, and the guy decided he wanted his scooter back. So yeah, Jeremy, I'm looking forward to it, dude. What's the lady from? Oh, oh, you got you got the stank eye from the meter maid with the bad attitude. Got it. Well, Buck, I appreciate the hell out of you letting us shack up in your camper, dude. I do, brother. And I was not expecting that, but thank you. And I wasn't going to let her sleep on the ground either. I would have driven her back to the house and tucked her lovingly into bed and propped her feet up, and I would have put her favorite little, cozy, cushy, horseshoe shaped neck pillow on her, like she loves so much. And actually, she's grown so fond of it that she still uses the thing too. Well, gang, I tell you what, we got off to a rocky start on this one, but hey, I'd say we had fun with it. I know I did. But I got a couple things I got to wrap up here. That way I can actually exit this facility and then trudge my ass back to the house and come in back in tomorrow and do it all over again. So, yeah, I got to go fix my busted ass junk and that way I can go home. So, yeah. Also, another thing, I got my pulley in. So, yeah, this coming up Thursday, we're definitely going to have some ride report and also some ride review on the re-gear on the Terraglide, and also see how these new rear shocks that I squirreled up are going to be playing out on this thing because that's something I'm really looking forward to. And I'm hoping like hell that they work out the the way that I'm intending them to. That way it'll make it more comfortable for the wife unit being on the back with me. So yeah. let's cross our fingers on that one, guys. But I'm going to take you along for the ride with me, and I'll make sure that you know about it really damn soon as I know about it. Let's put it that way. Anyway, guys, I love you. I appreciate you being patient with me. I'm going to go make a cup of coffee, get my ass back to work. I'm going to eventually get home. But I am very thankful for you guys putting up with me and hanging out with us. And I will see you guys here very, very shortly. Okay. All right. Remember, y'all, I love you. I'll see you next trip. Okay.